It's November 1939. Somewhere in the forests of Finland, a ghost is watching you. You can't see him. You can't hear him. You won't even hear the shot. By the time Soviet commanders realized what was hunting their men, 505 of their soldiers were already dead. One man, one rifle, 100 days. This is the story of Simo He, the deadliest sniper in all of human history. In 1905, in a small village called Rojärvi in southeastern Finland, a boy was born into a farming family. His name was Simo He. He wasn't born into wealth. He wasn't born into nobility. He was a farmer's son. But Finland in those days was a nation that lived in the forest. Hunting wasn't a hobby, it was survival. And young Simo, he was exceptional at it. By his teenage years, he could track animals through fresh snow and move silently. At age 17, he joined the Finnish Civil Guard. He began to take marksmanship seriously, competing in regional shooting competitions across Finland. He won repeatedly. There are records of him scoring 25 out of 25 in a 150-meter shooting competition. Perfect score, every time. By the time he was in his early 30s, Simo He was living quietly. Farming, hunting, living simply on 12 hectares of Finnish land. He had no idea that history was about to come knocking on his door. Year 1939. The Soviet Union was the largest country on Earth. Stalin looked at Finland and saw a problem. The Soviet city of Leningrad sat just 32 kilometers from the Finnish border. Stalin wanted a buffer zone. Finland said no. Negotiations broke down, and on November 30th, 1939, Stalin ordered the full invasion. 450,000 Soviet soldiers crossed the border. Planes bombed Finnish cities. Tanks rolled through the forests. The world assumed Finland would fall within 2 weeks. But here is where the Soviets made their fatal mistake. The Finns had a military doctrine the Soviets had never encountered. They called it Marty tactics. Instead of meeting the massive Soviet army in open battle, the Finns retreated into the forests. They knew perfectly. They let Soviet columns advance deep into the tree line, then cut them off from behind. Surrounded, isolated, frozen. Soviet soldiers, trained for open warfare, were completely lost. Their equipment froze. Their supply lines were cut. Men who had marched confidently into Finland were dying of cold, hunger, and ambushes in the dark. And in the forests of Kala, one of the most critical defensive lines, Simo He was waiting. Before we talk about what Simo did, we need to talk about his weapon. Simo He used the Finnish M28 a bolt-action rifle. Nothing exotic, nothing experimental. A standard infantry rifle, the same basic design used by hundreds of thousands of soldiers. But here is what made Simo different from every other sniper on that battlefield. He refused to use a telescopic scope. Every elite sniper of that era used scopes for magnification. Simo used iron sights. The basic metal sights built into the rifle from the factory. Why? Because telescopic scopes reflect sunlight. In a white, open snowfield, a single flash of reflected light from a scope lens is enough. And in Simo's world, giving away your position meant death. Iron sights don't reflect. Iron sights don't betray you. He also kept his rifle's barrel meticulously clean of frost. He packed snow around the muzzle to prevent steam from giving away his position. Every detail, every variable, controlled. This was not luck. This was craftsmen at work. The Finnish front in winter 1939 was unlike anything soldiers had ever experienced. Temperatures dropped to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Soviet tanks froze solid overnight. Rifles jammed. Food froze before it could be eaten. Men who fell asleep in the wrong place didn't wake up. And in these conditions, Simo He went to work. His routine was precise. He would move into position before dawn, sometimes hours before first light. He would dig himself into the snow, completely buried. Only the rifle barrel exposed. And then he would wait. He could lie motionless in minus 40 degrees for hours. No movement, no sound. no impatience. He packed snow into his mouth while shooting, because in extreme cold, every exhale produces a visible cloud of breath. A puff of steam above your snowbank means your position is known. Snow in the mouth kept his breath invisible. When Soviet soldiers entered his field of view, he fired, worked the bolt, and waited again. Within the first weeks, Soviet commanders were receiving reports that made no sense. Their men were dying from a sniper no patrol could locate. No muzzle flash, no sound signature, no tracks in the snow, just bodies. They started calling him Belaya Smert, the White Death. By December 1939, the Soviets were in a state of controlled panic. Simo He had killed over 200 men in a single month. The Red Army sent in counter-snipers, their own elite marksmen, specifically tasked with eliminating the White Death. Simo killed them too. Then came the artillery. The Soviets began shelling entire sections of forest where they suspected Simo might be hiding. They destroyed acres of Finnish woodland trying to kill one man. Simo moved to position and kept shooting. On the Kala front, Soviet morale collapsed completely. Soldiers refused to move in the open. On the Finnish side, Simo He had become something close to a legend. One Finnish officer reportedly answered, "Kala will hold as long as he is alive." By February 1940, Simo's confirmed sniper kill count had passed 500 confirmed kills. No sniper in recorded human history, before or since, has come close to this number, and he wasn't done yet. March 6th, 1940. Simo He took his position in the snow, as he had done hundreds of times before. What happened next? No one knows exactly. Whether it was a lucky shot from a Soviet infantryman or a counter-sniper who had spent weeks hunting him and finally got close enough. A bullet struck Simo He in the lower left jaw. The explosive round took off a large portion of his face. His comrades found him unconscious in the snow, face destroyed, bleeding out. They carried him off the battlefield, certain he was already dead. He was placed into a coma. For 11 days, Simo He lay between life and death. And then, on March 13th, 1940, the very day Finland signed its peace treaty with the Soviet Union, Simo He opened his eyes. The war ended the same morning he woke up. As if the forest itself had decided his work was done. Simo He survived. It took years of reconstructive surgeries to rebuild his face. He was promoted to second lieutenant by Finnish Commander-in-Chief Carl Gustaf Emil Manner, the fastest battlefield promotion in Finnish military history. Finland awarded him their highest military honors, but after the war, Simo became a moose hunter, a dog parent, a quiet man in a quiet village. He gave very few interviews in his lifetime. When journalists finally tracked him down decades later and asked how he felt about killing over 500 men, Simo He looked at them and said simply, "I did what I was told to do, as well as I could. No pride. No guilt, no drama. Just a man who did his duty and went home to his farm." Simo He lived until the age of 96. He died on April 1st, 2002, had outlived the Soviet Union itself, which had collapsed 11 years before him. The empire that sent 500,000 soldiers to crush his country was gone, and the farmer from Rojärvi was still there. 505 confirmed sniper kills. A farmer who became the most lethal sniper in recorded human history. Not because he was built for war, but because someone came to his home, and Simo He had nowhere else to be. This has been the story of Simo He, the White Death.